Good afternoon, welcome back to today's video. I've just completed an hour on the trainer. Training for me is done for the day, but today's video is only just starting. So this afternoon we are headed over to Otley for the Otley GP. Ryan's racing, I'm not racing, I'm just getting a lift for him to go and watch. But this is tonight the first round of the Elite Circuit Series. There's been some big winners of this race in the past, including Jeremy Hunt, Adam Blythe and also Mark Cavendish. So it's a real prestigious race. It's always a good one to watch. It should be a good evening. Just arrived in Otley and it looks like it's going to be a wet night for the riders. There was a segment here where I was talking to someone about the layout of the circuit, but it turns out I didn't press record on my camera. So imagine I'm just this spectator for a minute talking to the camera. From the start finish line you take a sweeping left and right, and then you start to go up the climb that we saw. It was a short, fast climb, and then from the top of the climb it descends very slightly and then it kicks up again. Now this is where the hard bit comes, because the riders have just done the effort to get up the first bit of the climb and then have got to go up the second bit. Then at the top of that climb there is a 100-degree turn. From there they descend back down to the start of the circuit. At the bottom of the descent there is another left-hand turn. Now this can be quite tricky in the wet. Luckily no one crashed tonight, because on this corner was a grid, and then from that corner to the finish line it's about 200 meters. So pretty much the first person to that corner, particularly on a wet night like tonight, the first person to that corner probably is going to win. 3, 2, 1. So as I mentioned earlier, today is the start of the Elite Circuit Series. Now this is a really important race for the riders, because today's result will set up the gridding system for the next events. So the riders that do well today will be placed at the front of the grid for the coming races for the rest of the season. Currently just walking up the climb, which if it was on its own doesn't seem too horrendous, but racing up here for an hour is going to take its toll on the riders. We're about halfway through the race. There's a breakaway of about 8 riders and they have a gap of about 40 seconds. This is the downhill section of the course. At this point the riders will be doing about 45 to 50 miles per hour. Insane. There's about 15 minutes of racing left. It looks pretty nailed on that the winner's going to come from that group of 8 or 9 riders, the breakaway. The lead has extended out to about a minute and there's no real chase from behind.
Yeah! Get some! Get some! Good! Get some!
Well, last time through it was 6 seconds between.
So amazingly, with having over a minute with 3 laps to go, the bunch actually brought that breakaway of 8 guys back. However, one of the riders in the breakaway, Chris Lawless, who's just come off a second place finish behind Steve Cummins in the Isle of Man national champs. He was in the breakaway for the whole race and he still managed to win from the bunch. So yeah, incredible ride there by the winner Chris Lawless. And I feel bad for making excuses because I'm not racing, but I'm that cold I can hardly hold this camera. My hands are just completely numb. Was that as cold racing, Dan, as it was watching?
Oh mate, it was awful.
Was it like hard, or was it just because it was so cold?
I think it was both, to be honest. Like, it was hard because I'm not very good, and it was hard because it's cold as well and wet.
And now it's time to head home. Ryan, who I went with tonight, just finished in the middle of the bunch, and I've got a couple of his stats here from the race. His normalised power was 360 watts. His average speed was 27.2 miles per hour. And that circuit tonight wasn't the flattest of circuits. Combined with the rain, that sounded like quite a tough night out. I mean, I would still like to have been racing, but it sounded like a tough night. Anyway, the time is now 12:15. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.